Welcome here to TalkFCB and welcome back to the channel here, guys. On the verge of the weekend, we have a full Barça news roundup coming your way because we're going to be looking into Hansi Flick's training sessions and exactly what the feeling is right now from the players. What has the feedback been of these early sessions? Also, is there going to be a surprise sale at Barça? Who exactly might that be? There is lots to discuss on that front, and also more words from Ronald Koeman, who has hit out at Barça again over Frenkie de Jong. That is all coming up, and plenty more as well, and I hope you're going to enjoy it. So let's do this. But first of all, guys, let's kick off with some extra special super thanks shout-outs here. One coming in from Australia, who's actually been watching since Hansi Flick took Barcelona apart in 2020. Not a good day for us, obviously, but thank you very much for your support there down under. And also here, a very happy birthday indeed to Nick. Your brother has been in touch, and he's organised an absolutely fantastic birthday present, in my opinion, for you. And I thank you both very much indeed there for your support. And I want to talk here, guys, about us fans. I want to talk about the fact here that Barca fans around the world, they are loving this new kit and they are going out and buying it. Because it's being said right here that Barca's new shirt is record-breaking in terms there of the opening few days of sales, because apparently in the first 3 hours there that it was available, as many shirts were sold as the entire first day of last season. And I think that shows there a real change in the mood at the club right now. I think that's only been boosted by Lamine Yamal and what he was doing this summer for Spain there, because his shirt was by far and away the most popular. Everybody wanted a Yamal shirt, so much so that the Barcelona store actually ran out of the letter A. So Yamal there, taking the letter A away from everybody. But it's great to see the excitement. It is great to see their Barca fans turning up. And of course, these shirt sales, they're important for the club. This is the reason why we've been able to negotiate what is going to be a record-breaking deal with Nike. But I also just want to clarify there, on that new kit, the Spotify logo, of course, there's one for the players and a different version for the fans. And the reason behind that actually is that Spotify actually asked Barcelona to change their logo after Nike had already started the production on the new kits. That is why the fan kits still have the existing Spotify logo, the old way that it was presented last season, and there's that difference now between the fan and the player versions. But let's talk now about the players who are going to be wearing those kits on all important nights there and in the season to come, because I've got to say, guys, I've been really enjoying looking at the footage and training sessions this week here, some of the photos as well that have been emerging there. Hansi Flick seems very enthusiastic. He also seems, though, very focused there, very set on making sure this is an important time for the club. Pre-season here, getting everybody up to speed, in shape, and ready for what he wants from them. It is an absolutely crucial time. And I think it's also been great this week, guys, to see Thiago as part of those training sessions there, as part of Hansi Flick's staff. And I think he looks right at home. You know, he's come in, he's basically finished his playing career and just jumped into this Barcelona role. And he really does look like he belongs there. I'm excited to see him with the team on the USA tour. I don't think it's ruled out that it could be something a little bit more long-term with him beyond this summer, but we'll have to wait and see how things go. And also in today's training session, Joan Laporta was there. He was in attendance. He personally greeted Hansi Flick and they exchanged some words between them. And I'm sure that Hansi Flick there was just saying, hey, what's going on with the transfers here? How are we getting on with Nico? How are we getting on with some of the other targets there? Do not forget, Mr. President, about my transfer wish list this summer. But no, seriously, we've got to talk about training and we have to talk about the Hansi Flick impact, because what we are hearing right now in the media, apparently one player has actually spoken there to a journalist and said, I have not seen such a level of training there, the intensity of it, the way that everything is organised in these training sessions. I haven't seen that in recent years at Barca. There is a feeling within the club right now, and with the players who've been part of these sessions, that this is something new. This is a level that we haven't seen, and we have been crying out for this level of training, because apparently with Hansi Flick in charge right now, it is all training all the time. And what I mean by that is, by the very first minute that session starts, You've got to be locked in. You have got to be ready, and you certainly have to commit to that session from the word go until the end. It is non-stop. It is high-intensity stuff, because what has actually been scrapped is what Xavi was doing there with a lot of these team-building, bond-building exercises there, whereby it was a little bit more relaxed at the start of sessions, maybe a little bit more relaxed at the end there when players would do sort of these fun games, which I can see would make it a family. It would make it there a nice place to be. But I think at times here, and particularly in the situation that we're in at Barca with the results that we've had in recent years, we don't need this to be a nice place to be right now. We need this to be a place of work, and hard work from the minute go until the very end of training sessions, because that's what we want in matches. We don't just want to perform from the first minute to the 60th minute. We've got to be there for the whole game. Every minute, every moment, every crucial aspect has to be taken care of, and the signs are good. This is what Hansi Flick was always going to bring, and the work is underway. Which brings us on then to the topic of Sergi Roberto, because I think we're all sort of waiting around thinking, well, is Roberto still a Barcelona player? His contract is up, it's expired. Technically, he is no longer connected to the club, but we still haven't really had an announcement from the club. They haven't said their goodbye to Sergi Roberto. They will say goodbye because he's been here for so many years. So of course that will come if he is actually going to leave the club, because right now he seems to be waiting, hoping that Barca will come in with an offer. It all depends on FFP. It all depends on whether we want to allocate precious funds there to Roberto, although it would be a very low salary anyway. But what we're hearing from today is that he's kind of losing faith now, Roberto. He doesn't really see Barca coming in and making him that offer. And right now he's having to think, okay, I can't really wait around any longer. Apparently he's got a few offers from the Premier League. He's also got a few people there looking at him from Serie A. So the offers there are on the table for Roberto. And I think right now the door is very slowly closing on his Barca career. That's the way that it looks right now. Fabrizio Romano said today that this summer, Roberto and Barca are still expected to part ways. It does still seem as though Roberto is much more outside the club than inside. He appears to be on his way out. Well, he's already gone, but it should be confirmed, and it is expected to be confirmed now quite imminently. However, that is not the surprise exit that we need to talk about in today's video, because yesterday, of course, guys, we spoke in depth on the channel about Dani Olmo, about whether we need him, about whether he's somebody who should be treated as a priority signing this summer, and of course it would take big money to bring him in. And even in yesterday's video, we all said here, if he was to come in along with Nico, then something would have to give. We can't just sign everybody and keep everybody at the same time. If you're going to outlay that kind of cash, there would need to be a big sale. And then later on, actually last night then, Gerard Romero came out and he said that on Thursday evening, 2 different agents gave him the name of a Barca player who could be put on the market this summer in the event that Olmo signed to Barca. And Romero says that he was taken aback by the name, that he was surprised there by the name that he was told could leave if Olmo was to join. Now, he went on to say that player is not İlkay Gündoğan. We've spoken about that on the channel too. The fact that he's been linked away from the club, his future, does seem a little bit uncertain, but he says the name is not Gündoğan that he was given. So the question is now, what name has he been given? Because I'm thinking about players here who maybe you could sell for big money at Barca, big players there that may be on their way out. You're thinking about Andreas Christensen, you're thinking about Koundé. I personally don't see either of those leaving the club right now, especially with Araujo's injury situation. Araujo himself, of course, he's not leaving. No club is going to be signing him when he's got this current injury. Rafinha, he is determined to stay. Lewandowski, determined to stay as well. So lots of high-profile names here that, for me, they're not really options to leave. It's not really going to happen. So I think in the end, all of us were saying, well, is that name Frenkie de Jong? Which now, in my opinion, guys, that is not really a surprise name there from Romero. De Jong has been linked away from the club in pretty much every single transfer window for the past few years, so I don't think de Jong would be a surprise name that is brought up there by agents, but a lot of people were noting that in the club's promotional video that we discussed yesterday there, launching the new kit, lots of Barca players involved, lots of former Barcelona players involved in that video. One person that wasn't there, that was actually Frenkie de Jong, which is even more interesting when you consider that he's also a big name, not only at Barca, but with Nike as well. So you'd have thought that he be in that video. You would have thought there that he'd be front and centre as one of the big names for both Barca and Nike, but he did not appear in that video. So is there anything there that we can look into on him? But then actually, to go further on that, they're thinking about him leaving the club here. I think we've then got to talk about Ronald Koeman's words, because actually Koeman has given us here an update today. He's spoken a lot, and we're going to talk about his words, but he's given us an update on exactly what's happening with De Jong's injury, which honestly doesn't sound good. He said, I speak with Frenkie de Jong often, we know each other well, and he is very worried about his injury right now. He said it is a significant injury problem, and we've got to wait and see how it goes, how it progresses. He said, I wish him luck, I wish him a speedy recovery, but right now, he is not ready to play. And that is concerning there. And again, I would say in the same way that nobody's going to sign Araujo with this injury problem, if that is true there about Frenkie, if he is still struggling, which we believe that he is with the ankle, again, clubs are not going to go there. Clubs are not going to pay big money, big wages to a player who is still struggling to find really the root of their ankle injury problem. So that there is not good at all with Frenkie. But Koeman continued. No, he's not done there. Ronald Koeman, by the way, guys, he is not about to let this go anytime soon. He said Frenkie played big games when he wasn't ready to play. He didn't have match rhythm. He didn't have the training sessions to play the games against PSG. He said, on the one hand, I understand it. It was an important moment of the season for Barca, but he said it's not been good for Frenkie. In the end, he has suffered. Koeman is absolutely furious about what's happened with Frenkie here, and he believes, well, it was the wrong decision to play him from Xavi. So he's basically there criticising again Xavi, his decision to play De Jong in those PSG games. But then he went on to say, Barca's problem is that Messi's out, I'm out, Xavi is out. I think it's important to respect legends of the club. And he said Barca have not been able to compete in recent years. And I think this is always sort of the feeling behind any words that Ronald Koeman has about the current Barcelona team. I think he's still very much hurting from that exit there. The way that maybe he felt he was hard done by Laporta, the way that he was sacked, of course, and then replaced by Xavi himself. I think he's still very much hurting from that. Because then he went on to say, I do actually dream of returning to Barca there. Speaking of maybe the coaching role again, but he said not with this president. He does not see eye to eye with Laporta. He said again, he does not respect his legends. So Ronald Koeman there, angry with Laporta, probably angry with Xavi as well because of the treatment with Frenkie de Jong. He's concerned there about his injury, and I think we all are here as well on the channel, guys. But what do you make then? With all of that about Frenkie, the ankle, who do you think Romero is referencing when he's speaking about this surprise sale? When he's speaking about this player here who he didn't expect to be on the cards to maybe leave if Dani Olmo joins? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below here. It'll be a very, very interesting conversation to have, and of course I will see you all very soon here on the channel. Wishing you all a great weekend ahead, guys. Thank you, as always, for joining me. But until next time, as always, Vejka, Barça.